Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 10.
And breaking right now on News 6, a deadly shootout at sea. Cuba's Coast Guard opens fire on a speedboat from Florida and takes lives. The Cubans now say that boat fired first.
A Facebook exchange gone wrong. Coming up, how a man who was robbed ended up getting pushed from a car along this busy roadway, and what police have to say.
Will the last home standing on Orlando's Lake Eola Park face the wrecking ball? Mayor Buddy Dyer weighs in on its fate. A man survives a ghastly accident, scarred for life. More than a decade later, a long-lasting moment that he's been waiting for.
Today, I got to go and thank all the people that helped save my life, which was really, really special.
And new at 10 with details, even a new perspective in a deadly shooting that took place outside of a gay nightclub, a shooting that has people online widely speculating about what actually happened. Good evening. I'm Troy Campbell. Now, what's not at dispute, a 33-year-old died after he was shot early Sunday morning outside Savoy nightclub. His loved ones and friends are grieving. We know Orlando police have arrested a 37-year-old man near Savoy, which is on Orange Avenue in Ivanhoe Village. Now, his lawyer admits he fired the deadly shot. Well, tonight, I spoke one-on-one with defense attorney Mike O'Mara, who told me his client may have acted in self-defense. Representing this individual, we're looking at it as there is a potential there for this circumstance that this man might have fired this gun legally.
Yes.
In this incident.
Well, you look, Florida has a very strong self-defense law, and it means that you can protect yourself from a threat of deadly force.
Attorney Mark O'Mara says his client, 37-year-old Jean Borja de la Madure, might have been justified in the shooting death of 33-year-old Julian Cruz. Orlando police say officers came to investigate reports of a shooting just after 2:30 Sunday morning near Savoy nightclub. The caller says it started with a confrontation that turned physical.
Imagine it. It's 2:30 in the morning. You're driving home, not far from your home. Something happens that makes you stop, and then you have to defend yourself with the use of deadly force. And now he is looking at a potential life sentence.
And O'Mara says at this point, it's still unclear what was the exact reason that caused his client to stop here in the roadway along North Orange Avenue. In the meantime, several days later, you can see a makeshift memorial has been set up for the victim. Cruz's loved ones could be seen placing candles near the scene on Wednesday night.
There was an altercation. My guy got out of the car, but then other people started coming out of the club. My guy got back in the car.
O'Mara says after speaking with Borja Gil de la Madure, it's possible someone forced opened his car door moments before the fatal shooting. You did say that somebody else opened the car door?
It seems as though the person who was initially involved wasn't involved afterwards, that other people came towards my guy's Jeep and opened the car door when he had gotten back in. Quite honestly, if that's what happened, that's what we call a forcible felony in Florida, and you're allowed to protect yourself using deadly force if need be when somebody breaks into your car the way may have happened.
O'Mara also says, so far, he doesn't believe Cruz was targeted for being outside of a gay nightclub.
Yes, it seems that Savoy was a gay club and that's where they were, but that seems to be the only connection. My guy was simply driving down the road when whatever happened that got them together.
As we wait for the arrest warrant to be unsealed, the suspect in that case, he remains locked up in the Orange County Jail without bond on a second-degree murder charge. Now, breaking now at 10, Cuba's Coast Guard says it has opened fire on a Florida-based speedboat, killing 4 people on board and wounding 6 others. The Cubans say they approached the boat off their north coast, east of Havana, asking for identification when the people on board, described as aggressors, opened fire first. Florida Senator Rick Scott and South Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez are calling for a full investigation. And also just in, Cuba's government now claims the 10 passengers were armed Cubans living in the U.S. who were trying to infiltrate the island and unleash terrorism. Cuba also says most have history of violent activity. One Cuban officer was wounded in all of this. Now, speaking from St. Kitts, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says shootouts at sea don't happen often.
It is highly unusual to see shootouts in open sea like that. It's not something that happens every day. It's something, frankly, that hasn't happened with Cuba in a very long time. But we're going to find out. We're not going to base our conclusions on what they've told us.
And of course, we will have these breaking updates as they come in overnight on clickorlando.com. Another big story, a fire danger remains high. I also went out, check this out. I recorded this video after this fire sparked up late this afternoon in Pine Hills. This is in the area of Settlement Circle, west of Hiawassee Road in Orange County. Now, the grass area near a pond burned. This, again, is video I recorded from that scene showing some of those fire vehicles responding. Orange County Fire Rescue says it's from a 1.5 acre brush fire. Now, thankfully, no buildings were threatened in any of this. Online sales, real-world violence. Tonight, newly released video shows how what should have been a simple transaction quickly turned dangerous. Winter Springs police say a man set up a meetup through Facebook Marketplace to sell a PlayStation 5. Now, instead of a sale, investigators say he was robbed, pepper sprayed, and even dragged by that car. News 6's Tylisa Hampton is in Winter Springs.
A Facebook Marketplace deal gone wrong. This newly released surveillance video captures the troubling side of internet exchanges.
So can you tell us anything about the case?
In regards to the case, it's still an ongoing investigation. It's an unfortunate incident that we're still working through.
Last Tuesday, during a Facebook Marketplace sale, 3 people met a seller in the parking lot of a Publix to buy a PlayStation 5 for $800. But instead of paying, they tried to speed away with it. In a desperate attempt, the seller runs after the car and hangs on the passenger side, getting dragged hundreds of feet and pepper sprayed. Then he is pushed out before the car runs a red light.
They snatched it. Do you suggest going for it?
Absolutely not. Just be a good witness. Identify as much characteristics as you can.
Police found the car in Apopka, and with it, the PS5 and pepper spray were still inside, arresting all 3 suspects. Instead of going to public parking lots, Winter Springs Police Department, they suggest coming to a police station just like theirs, where you can see signs like that to make safe exchanges.
We're a 24-hour operation. We have cameras, security cameras. We have dispatchers and inside personnel.
If it's not during the day where they make these exchanges, even if it's here, how can they be kept safe?
Put yourself in a position or do these transactions in a safe place, well-lit areas, well-traveled areas. If an individual does not want to do those dealings in those types of areas, you may want to reconsider doing business with that individual.
And that seller is said to be okay. And most police departments and sheriff's offices across the state, they do have that zone for safe exchanges to happen. We have a list across Central Florida on our website, clickorlando.com. Reporting for News 6, I'm Tylisa Hampton.
The fate of the last home on Lake Eola is in question, and more than a decade after he survived a ghastly accident, a local man finally had a chance to say thanks. Matt Austin and Ginger Gadsden have other stories making headlines in Central Florida.
Will the last home standing on downtown Orlando's Lake Eola be torn down?
Yeah, rumors online have been spreading, but Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer says no, there are no plans to demolish the Luby House. And most likely you've driven by the nearly 100-year-old house if you've ever been to Lake Eola. It's right there on Central Boulevard, just off Roseland Avenue. It has stood on the lake since about 1930 and is now owned by the city. Chatter about its fate came up this week at the city council meeting. Mayor Dyer confirms the city did get a quote on how much it would cost to demolish the house, but there are no plans to do that. He's calling for a renovation to make it useful again. That's why, perhaps surprisingly, he doesn't want the house officially designated as a historic property.
I don't support a historic designation, which I think people have started to try to stop a demolition, but however that goes, but it'll cost us a lot more to refurbish it if it does have a historic designation, so that would be the reason I would want to see that done.
The mayor says they're still looking at options on how to best use that building. However, he confirms the 5-story city center building next to the house is set to be demolished. The 1925 office building will make way for a new entrance to the park.
Well, tonight, Orlando fire workers reunited with a man who was shocked by a power line while trimming trees. This happened almost 12 years ago.
Today, he finally met the crew who saved his life at Firehouse 3. Do want to warn you, some of these photos are a bit graphic, but they help us tell the story. OFD says in June of 2014, Matt Manzari was trimming trees at a church in College Park. You can see what happened to him. Officials say he suffered severe burns and wounds on his body, but miraculously stayed conscious. Bystanders called 911, and emergency crews arrived within minutes to treat his wounds. He was taken to a hospital as a trauma alert patient, which they say undoubtedly saved his life.
I was in a big commercial bucket. It popped the tires in the bucket. It fried the computer. It ran through my arms and my chest here. And I had 4th and 5th degree burns all over my upper body. I was the first 4th and 5th degree burn survivor at ORMC. And I've had 80 surgeries in the last 11 years. And I actually had somebody connect me with these guys and said, hey, we don't really do this, but most of those guys probably don't even know if you're alive. And would you do a patient reunion? So today, I got to go and thank all the people that helped save my life, which was really, really special.
For a daily conversational look at breaking news and stories shaping up around Central Florida, join us for News 6 at 3.
You can catch Matt and me there live every weekday. We hope you join us.
Tonight, the rocket that will carry astronauts back to the moon is back in the Vehicle Assembly Building. Ahead on News 6, a look at what it took to roll back the SLS Mega Moon rocket and how soon it could launch now that crews can reach it from all angles.
But man, to get it all back, what a blessing, what a blessing. And Channel 6 has been with me through it all.
We followed her case for years. A woman looking for love instead schemed out of $30,000. How a judge today may finally get her some justice. You're watching News 6 at 10 live on a Wednesday night, covering Altamont Springs, Winter Springs, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Central Florida Honda Dealers.
A Central Florida woman who was looking for love instead lost $30,000 to a romance scam. Now, after months of heartbreak, she's finally getting justice and actually her money back. We've been following this story since the very beginning, when the victim actually confronted the suspect the day he was arrested. News 6 reporter Jarrell Baker was at his sentencing today.
I want to see Corey Woodall sell that car, trailer, and lawnmower, give the money to the court, and then let it come to me.
Carol West will finally get her money back from Corey Woodall, the man convicted of spending $30,000 of her money that she lost in a romance scam.
Well, I would have liked to see him get a longer prison sentence, but the judge decided what she thought was best.
For 6 weeks, West thought that she was chatting with Paul Lacamera, a real retired U.S. Army general. But it was scammers posing as Lacamera who tricked her out of $30,000 in cash and even more through gift cards and Bitcoin. Woodall claimed that he was not the person chatting online with West, but said that he received the money to launder it.
This is the young lady whose $30,000
you took. In September, in an unusual twist, the 70-year-old victim got to confront Woodall directly when he was extradited to Florida.
How many other people did you spend their money?
I'm sorry for spending the money that she has sent me.
Are you willing to sell the items?
I'm willing to sell the trailer and lawnmower and the car and get the money back.
Wednesday, Woodall was sentenced to 2 years behind bars and 10 years of probation. He has to pay back $30,000 with a minimum payment of $300 per month.
But man, to get it all back, what a blessing, what a blessing. And Channel 6 has been with me through it all.
West said that she has to go back to work to replenish her life savings, and she'll most likely have to continue working even after she's been paid all her restitution. In Volusia County, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
Here's a live look at NASA's Vehicle Assembly Building, the heart of Kennedy Space Center. Inside, for the first time in more than a month, the SLS Mega Moon rocket. The rocket, destined to take astronauts to the moon and back, finished its 12-hour rollback just a short time ago. It started before 9:30 a.m. This is some time-lapse video showing the final stretch of the 4-mile crawl as the sun went down. NASA's team say they need the SLS back in the building because it's the only way to reach an area where helium is not flowing properly in the SLS's upper stage. If nothing else major pops up, astronauts could strap in and launch as soon as April 1st. Of course, we'll keep you posted. Tonight, a simple act of kindness at a Volusia County elementary school is now reaching people far beyond the classroom. Now, this video from DeBerry Elementary has gone viral. It's showing students rallying around a classmate who was having a tough day. News 6's Alex Cook sat down with the kids behind that moment and the teacher who captured it.
It's not every day a fourth grade classroom breaks the internet, but that's exactly what happened here at DeBerry Elementary. And it all started with a few Post-it notes and some kids who wanted to lift up their friend.
I'm loving it. I am happy.
The video has millions of views and hundreds of thousands of comments.
The comments go on and on about how this has restored people's humanity.
After a simple act of kindness in a fourth grade classroom, Sophia Campbell says she was feeling down at school.
I feel like I'm not that smart sometimes.
Luckily, in Miss Miller's class, kindness is kind of their thing.
The Kindness Squad is all about spreading kindness around the world.
And with one of their own in need, the Kindness Squad stepped up.
I needed to do something to lift their spirit.
Sophia's classmates covered her desk and chair with dozens of colorful Post-it notes, where they each wrote encouraging messages.
Beautiful, smart, amazing, hard worker. I know you're awesome and pretty. You can do special things.
The video shows Sophia overwhelmed with happiness.
It was just so amazing that I was appreciated. I'm smart, I'm amazing, like so many feelings.
Joanne Miller's been leading the Kindness Squad for years. She never expected her video to go viral, but she's thrilled to see kindness catching on.
Kindness spreads kindness, and the world needs kind people, and together we can do anything.
She says her students learn showing kindness can feel just as good as receiving it, and they plan to keep it up as soon as the camera crews clear out.
We have so many people coming here. We didn't really learn today.
Well, that's the side effect of fame sometimes. In DeBerry, Alex Cook, News 6.
We all want those good stories, and hopefully they carry that on later in life.
That's
Teach them
fantastic.
young. All right, looking outside, I was outside a bit this evening, not as cold as it was last night.
We are turning the corner, Troy, for sure. Temperatures tomorrow are going to be warmer than where we were today as we warm things back up again. We're at 57 right now, not bad at all. As Troy mentioned, lower 60s in Pensacola there, the 60s, upper 60s and lower 70s. Still back towards Texas, but that is all working their way across the North Gulf Coast, eventually into Florida. A couple things going on here. That high pressure, it is way back out here. That's the same one that sat on top of us last night, give us the clear skies, calm winds, allow that frost to develop, but that also helped to pump in the southerly wind today, bringing us that warmer air earlier this afternoon. And where we stand right now, temperature-wise, we're back to about 10-ish, 15-ish degrees above where we were last night at about 10:20. So we are moving on up, and that trend is going to continue. Here's a live look outside downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando delivering Hope Skycam Air temperatures back to the upper 50s right now. We have a mainly cloudy sky, mainly clear sky. Just a few of those higher thin clouds trying to push through as we see outside to filtering out some of the stars and the moonlight out there. Tomorrow morning, you might want the jacket. It's a little chilly out there, but it is about 10 degrees warmer than what we woke up to this morning. That'll put us in the mid to upper 40s. Again, no frost, no freeze, nothing like that as we start to turn the corner. It is still below where we should be for this time of the year. So again, jacket worthy for sure, but certainly not super cold like the last couple of mornings. High temperatures tomorrow getting back to the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. Rain chances at 0%. For now, that'll change a little bit as we get into the latter stages of Friday night. So there we go as we move into Friday night, early Saturday morning. This is 5 a.m. and you see the darker reds and oranges popping back up. I think there's a decent shot, especially for the first half of the day, to get in on some steady rain. And then once we get into the afternoon, a little more scattered, that's 5 o'clock, watching a new cold front slide through. Not a ton of cold air with this one. It will drop the temperatures a little bit, but otherwise, we're looking for this one for some beneficial rain. Keeping an eye on it for your outdoor plans this weekend, as again, it could be a little dicey at times, especially on Saturday. Don't think it's a ton of rain coming in our direction, but we'll take what we can get, obviously. 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 inch in extreme cases at this point. There's an opportunity for the front to stall out a little bit. We might be able to get a little more. If that happens, I'll keep you posted as we get closer towards the weekend. As far as we go right now, rain chances 20% on Friday. That is mainly late into the evening. Those will go up to 60% on Saturday, though. Again, a decent shot for showers, maybe in a few rumbles of thunder. There's that slightly cooler air. Again, back to the upper 70s on Saturday and Sunday, lower 80s on Monday, and we're keeping things in the low 80s Tuesday and Wednesday with slight rain chances Tuesday afternoon.
All right, thanks, Jonathan. 1,500 photos and a front row seat. Next at 10, we're showing you how you can take an airboat to capture one of Florida's rarest birds.
One of the most endangered birds of prey here in Florida is the snail kite. And our friend, John, the airboat photographer, knows exactly where to find them.
When you're spotting snail kites, you're looking for a dark, hawk-sized bird with red eyes and orange legs. You'll find them hunting over shallow water, riding the wind and hovering in place. You know, like that thing kids play with? So the snail kite flies like a kite. You want to guess what they eat? Yeah, sometimes ornithologists aren't very creative. Snail kites are specialists. They feed almost exclusively on apple snails, using their curved beak to pull the snail out of the shell. We found plenty of snail kites on Lake Toho, but these birds are still very endangered here in Florida. And their biggest threat is still habitat loss. All right, before we get to the photos, a huge shout out to Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures and Captain John Ruggieri. Captain John is an incredible photographer on his own. Go check out his photography on Instagram at Airboat Photographer. When Captain John hit us up, he said he knew exactly where to find snail kites, and he was not joking. It was a very cold morning to get on an airboat, but within minutes we were surrounded by the most endangered bird of prey here in Florida. I then took 1,500 photos. Snail kites are crazy fast, and the problem that day wasn't getting close. It was actually being too close.
Our lens is too big.
They were so close you could hear their wings flapping. And with so many birds hunting in the same area, conflict is inevitable. If you're trying to get pictures, there's no planning here. Just be ready to move and maybe stretch first.
Hurt myself.
By the time we headed back in, I couldn't feel my fingers anymore.
Cold. Very cold.
And for once, I had windburn instead of sunburn. And listen, I got a few good photos, but that's never really the point. Get outside and take a closer look at the everyday animals all around us. It's always worth it. That's it for today, Insiders. Go to clickorlando.com/insider and check out Day Trippers with my photographer, Kara Moeller.
All right, that's going to do it for us here at 10. Of course, we'll be back at 11, and you can follow all the updates on clickorlando.com, and plus stream us on News 6 Plus, free to download in your app store. We will be, of course, back at 10. 11.